everybody, welcome back to Conor here, All Leeds TV, and before we start this particularly interesting video, I'd like you to check in the description below. We are sort of partnering up with Retro Hut. It's where you can find all your mugs, all your towels, anything you want, personalised with Leeds United, and it is ran by a Leeds United fan. So make sure you hit the link in the description and go purchase some mugs and some towels and whatever you fancy. I don't want to give off this impression that we, as All Leeds TV, are giving off some sort of negative vibe, because I am so proud to be a Leeds United fan at this moment in time. We are seeing the best football I've ever seen in my life. I'm 26 years old. Never seen this sort of football in my life, and I'm so happy that this man, his backroom staff, and this owner and this recruitment director are in charge of my club, because we are setting the standard. We're setting the standard with everything that is going on at this club at this moment in time. It is classy, and we are very, very blessed at this moment in time. Does it need mending? For me, yes, but on the pitch, ultimately. Everything off the pitch, as far as I know, is fantastic. You know, we're bringing in some really good additions. The morale of the camp seems to be very good from what we know. Bielsa's morale seems to be very good, seems to be happy with his new additions. So everything off the pitch is fantastic. On the pitch, it's not as good at this moment in time. And this is why I wanted to do a little bit of a video titled Perspective. Social media this weekend has been horrendous. You know, people attacking people, people abusing people for football opinion. It is absolutely mind-blowing that you will go on the assault of an individual, whether or not that be me, whether or not that be Terry, Joe, George, whoever that may be, because of a football opinion. You don't know that individual personally. Don't take to social media to berate them because of a football opinion. You know, it is the lowest level of intellect. At this moment in time, we're all looking for the collective goal. We want Leeds United to be promoted. And that's where the frustration comes from, which we all understand. We come on post-matches after the game where we're in the moment, we're heated. It might be good, it might be bad. You know, you look at my Millwall video the other day, I was absolutely buzzing. I was so happy. But then you look at my Wigan one and I wasn't angry, I was just frustrated and down and upset. But it's because we do it for you guys straight after the game. And you all want that. There is moments where I've not uploaded for days and I get messages on that night asking where it is. You know, where is it? We want to see you, we want to hear your thoughts. And I know that the same goes on with everybody else on the channel. So you guys enjoy that. So that's why we do that, and by doing that, we put ourselves out there to a lot of criticism because it's in the moment. And not a lot of other, you don't get that from a lot of other platforms, because we put ourselves right there, right then, when the game's happened. And, you know, sometimes things are said that, you know, you look back at and you think, shouldn't have said that. But that's all part of the game, guys. It's all part of the game, and I just think as a fan base, sometimes we can be absolutely poisonous. And I think we all know that, don't we? But I just wanted to mention the perspective, because we're all in it for the collective goal. We're all in it for Leeds United. There doesn't need to be negativity for us going against each other. That doesn't need to happen. We all want the same thing. Football opinions need to be separated from personal attacks. And that feeds into mental health as well on social media, which is horrendous. If you pick people out, you don't know what that person's like behind closed doors. You having a social media platform is you having a responsibility. You have a responsibility to make sure that everyone within your followers' remit is not personally attacked by you because of a football opinion. It really is that basic. Now, I was a teacher and I know the effects it has on younger children and even adults, for goodness sake. It doesn't stop. So please be aware when you're on social media, and don't go out there to personally bash someone just because of their opinion. It really is not needed. Let's get into the team now. Perspective. We've got the best coach in the world. We've got probably the best backroom staff in the world. I love how they're animated. I love that. It's fantastic. I've got a big I'm a big advocate for seeing them on the touchline, giving it everything for the cause. I love that. I'd much rather that than just be sat on the bench. If they're going to take a yellow card every now and again, fair enough. We've got a wonderful sporting director, a recruitment director who gives everything for the cause. You can see him kicking and punching everything. And it'd be so interesting to see the dynamic between Victor Orta and Bielsa, because I bet at this moment in time there's a little bit of tension. You know, Eddie Nketiah, Victor Orta went down there allegedly by himself from reports, beat 32 other clubs to Eddie's signature. Bielsa barely played him. Apparently, last season it was very difficult for them to get Izzy Brown under the belt as well. Bielsa never played him. So it's very interesting, you know, what we're going to see now. Are we going to see Big Kev? Is he going to be within the squad? I presume so. Played 45 the other day. Came off, which is great to see, because that means hopefully that he's going to be featuring for the main squad. Watched a bit of the 23s. I thought Poveda looked excellent. Quick, nippy, direct, fresh. Something that we need. Fresh impetus. Fresh signings. Not embedded within this current mentality within the squad. Go on, Ian. Have a run at him. Do something different. Can you score a goal from the wing? That'd be great to see, wouldn't it? A little bit more goal-scoring prowess from the wings, which would alleviate the responsibility from the centre-forward, wouldn't it? But a lot of things are coming together. They are. It's just that little tweak that we need on the pitch. And the positive thing is right now is we have those options now. Tyler Roberts, when he came on, I thought he looked very, very bright, you know. I thought he looked very bright. Poveda, I think, should have come on, and he looked very good the other day. So hopefully now he's been in that game situation for a Leeds United side, he will be for selection. And I think he will be, if I'm honest with you guys. I think he will be for selection. Big Kev was taken off after 45 minutes because he's a first teamer, so I presume he'll be in the squad for Forest. So then you've got three players who can freshen it up, who can make it different. But the responsibility is then up to the manager. Will the manager then make those changes when the squad needs a little bit of help? When the crowd needs a little bit of an uplift, which I thought it'd have been perfect the other day against the very void of confidence Wigan side. I thought it'd have been really nice to see the players come on, give them a little bit of a spruce up, and that'd have been really good to see. I did watch Kev yesterday. I did watch the 23s game. Went down to Hillsborough and watched it, obviously with me being in Sheffield. Managed to go down and watch it. I thought he looked really good, promising. Should have scored. He nearly scored from a very, very acute angle. A lot of people saying he's carrying a lot of timber. Guys, he's always looked like that. He's a monster. He's a big, big dude. You know, big shoulders, very wide. He's not unfit. He's not fat. That is just how he carries himself. You know, Lukaku looked very, very similar. Obviously, a couple of inches bigger than him. But that is just how Augustin carries himself. He is very, very lean, but he's a big lad. So he's not unfit. He will not be unfit. He's played under Moreno. He's played under Nagelsmann, who had that same high press, that same fluidity in the football play. They're both young, aspiring managers from their respective leagues who demand the highest from their players. So he's not going to be unfit. That's why we got Poveda. That's why we got Augustin. Because they're going to be at that level. Bielsa always spoke of bringing players in who only need a certain amount of time to get in that first team squad. That's why we've gone out and got these two. Because it's a lack of adaptation. You can throw them in very early. And Bielsa did make that abundantly clear. But Bielsa did also say that we needed a striker. And he wanted a striker. And Eddie left, and Bielsa kept talking about Eddie. And he kept talking about Eddie. And he kept talking about Eddie. But now he has a striker. So now it's up to Bielsa to start using him. Now you look at the players on the pitch, Kiko Casilla. Kiko needs taken out by Bielsa. There needs to be man management there, which takes Kiko Casilla out of the line. He's 33 years old. He was third choice for Real Madrid for a large amount of years, you know, which essentially meant that he was a bench warmer. He didn't play as much as he wanted to. He's even come out and said that in his first Leeds United interview, which essentially means that he's not had the playing time. So this is the first time in his career really where he's had a sustained period of longevity within a squad, a competitive squad. But he's not good enough for me. There's too many mistakes, too many lacks of focus, a lack of focus, too much lapses of concentration, weak, not strong enough for his frame, doesn't help the squad out when we're on set pieces and we need a strong keeper to come and claim. you know, you look at Edison at Manchester City, small keeper, but I tell you what, he comes and claims balls when he's playing for that City side. He's renowned for it. Comes and claims balls, gets them out on the counter attack very quickly. He's about 3 inches smaller, I believe, than Kiko Casilla, who stands at about 6'3", 6'4". We need that extra height with his arms. You know, his reach is going to get him to about 6'6", 6'7", and because we're a smaller squad, we need that from corners, and he should be doing a lot better. We shouldn't be conceding as many goals from corners as we do if we had a strong, competent goalkeeper who can then come and punch, and he will take anybody out. I think Kiko's too soft for me. And I'd like to see Meslier be put in, you know, 2 to 3 inches bigger than Kiko, will give us a lot more height when we're defending corners, which is critical at this moment in time. We are conceding too many goals from corners, and it is becoming easy for teams. Put the ball on Kiko, surround Kiko, he'll put his hands in the air, asking for a foul, or he'll come out and flat. It'll either go to someone on the edge, or it'll go in the net. Even when he comes out and punches, it's not good. They're not decent punches. Do you know what I mean? So I think Meslier needs his chance now. His distribution is excellent. He's fantastic at saving penalties. I've watched him for the under-23s. He's massive, which will give us such a more domineering position from corners, defending corners. I think it's the time. And I think perspective, once again, Kiko's taken out, Meslier's brought in, and hopefully we see a change in dynamic. We're looking a little bit more confident from corners, because I don't think the defence have confidence in Kiko Casilla. Hence why Liam Cooper, every time he's going back, he's pointing, you go get it, Kiko, you go get it, you go get it. There's nerves there, and you can tell there needs to be a fresh relationship, fresh impetus, fresh goalkeeper. And that leads me on nicely to Liam Cooper. Not being the same for 2 to 3 months now, but perspective. We have changes which we can implement there. Gaetano Berardi, who I thought at the start of the season was excellent. I don't rely on Gaetano Berardi. For me, I probably would have sold him in the summer and bought a replacement centre half in. We didn't, but Berardi played really well alongside Ben White. I thought he was superb. So that's a little bit of a combination which I thought worked, you know. Whereas at this moment in time, I think Cooper's giving the ball away too much in his back line. He's not winning his individual battles in the box as well. I think there's been a couple of times in the past few weeks, really, where the offensive player has beaten him in the air. Cooper needs to be stronger. He's not physically a big lad, but you need to be stronger. Even if you're a little bit dirty underhand, I think this team could be too honest sometimes. And I think Liam, as the captain of this squad, needs to really take umbrage for that. I think he's been poor for the past 2 months, and I would like to see him go out on the side for Berardi at this moment in time. I do worry. But listen, Berardi wouldn't be my first choice. He really wouldn't, but we have no other options, and I think Liam needs to be taken out of the firing line. I think this fresh impetus that I'm talking about, perspective, I think he's really struggling at this moment in time. I think it's having a massive effect on Ben White. You saw Ben White's performances. He's only a kid. He needs someone next to him who's assured. Ben White might be fantastic. Do you know what I mean? But he does need help. And if his centre-back partner isn't performing at that level, Ben White can't consistently perform at this level and this level and this level. I would have liked to have seen Ben White next to Janssen. That would have been a very interesting dynamic. You see Janssen, who's now down at Brentford, who's partnered beside Ethan Pinnock, who I've raved about on this channel before, Ethan Pinnock ex-Barnsley. And Janssen looks superb. You know, I was speaking to a Brentford fan before this video, and he said he's been our best player this season. And that's including Ben Rama, that's including Jensen, that's including 18 goals already, Ollie Watkins. So that's the perspective. Jansen's been the best player so far. There's talent there. Of course there was an attitude problem, but I'd have loved to have seen Jansen and Ben White and to see how that would have progressed, because I do believe Jansen is a better defender than Liam Cooper. But we can't talk about that now, but I'm just trying to give different point of views, because we're just talking about perspective here, and I think Cooper needs a rest, to be honest. And obviously, you know, Calvin Phillips is going to be back in, not this weekend, so it's pointless really talking about him, but the weekend afterwards against Brentford, for me, the toughest game of the season. He needs massive performances now after, because he's really let us down. And I think at the weekend against Wigan, I was getting actually more frustrated with Calvin Phillips than anyone, because Dallas is, as much as I love Dallas, he's not able to do what Calvin Phillips does. He can't move the ball quickly, he can't distribute it 30, 40 yards. It's 5, 6, 7 touches and then a pass across across to maybe Luke Ayling, or on the other side, Alioski. And it's not Dallas's fault. He's Mr. Reliable, but he's not a defensive midfielder. And that's your fault, Calvin Phillips, and it's poor from you, and you've let your side down. So he needs to come back in, and his perspective needs to change. He needs to step up his performances, because I thought players like Eze, I thought players like Lee Tomlin, I think they've done very well against Calvin Phillips. I think he's struggled, so his performances need to up for the final half of this season. Helder Costa, I'm going to call him out. And I think, you know, when we're talking about perspective, once again, I've mentioned that word so many times, but this is what this video is about. Helder's been fantastic at beating a man. I thought he did really well against Tom Pearce. However, I thought Tom Pearce did very, very well to show him down the line, because it was tactical. He showed him down the line. Costa was on his weak foot, couldn't get it past Kipre, because he's not great at that final third with his right foot for me. He's very poor at that aspect. I'd like to see him and Harrison switch sides, Costa and Harrison. A little bit of unpredictability, a little bit of freshness in the squad. We've seen Costa play on that side. We've seen Harrison play adjacent sides. We've seen them swap over in their careers. Do you know what I mean? That's when we saw the fruitful Barry Douglas and Helder Costa on that side for that famous 16-17 Wolves side. And he interchanged either side with Cavallero. So I think we need to start doing that, because we're becoming way too predictable at this moment in time with our wingers, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. It's too easy. And I think he needs to add finish into his game, because it will alleviate the pressure on the front man. And coming on to the front man, Patrick Bamford. And before I get onto this guy, you know, this has all just been about things which I think need to freshen up, things that I would change. Obviously, I would start Kev instead of Bamford, because I think Kev's going to get chances no matter what. Someone came back to me on Twitter the other day and said, we're having a debate, as I do on Twitter all the time. I love having football debates. If you're abusive, you're going to get blocked, but if we just have debates, that's fantastic. I really enjoy that. But, you know, we're having a debate with a lad, and we've been DMing ever since, and we're talking about the Bamford incident, and you know, he was saying, but he's our target man. He's you know, is Kev going to be fit for it? And I said, the difference is, even if Kev isn't to that level, if he is Johnny on the spot, on the penalty spot, and he's got 12 yards to aim at, it's going in the back of the net. So that's the difference. If Bamford, yes, he's 100% fitness, but he's having 5 chances per game. Kev might be at 80% fitness and he comes off a little bit earlier, but he gets 2 chances and scores twice. I would rather have the latter. Do you know what I mean? 100%. I know Bielsa's not going to do that. I wish he was ruthless enough to do that, but I think Bielsa is so stubborn and loyal. It could affect us. I do think that, guys. You all know I think that. I think in the long run it could affect Leeds United, especially if it persists with Patrick Bamford. But I think this is the time for Augustin. And a lot of people, you know, as I've just mentioned, were saying he was weighty yesterday. He wasn't, guys. I was at the game. He's not. I can tell you he's not. And he's got a real nice eye for goal and a real good turn of pace. Poveda as well looked excellent, rapid, very quick. But more on Bamford, you know, I want to see this stop. I don't want that anymore. The attitude is becoming a little bit prevalent now. I've never seen an individual get as much support as Patrick Bamford. Chris Wood never had this. And I think Bamford's been lucky because he's come with the good times at Leeds. Bielsa came, Orta started sprucing up with the signings. Bamford came in as the marquee signing, injured for the first part of it, so we didn't really see what he was capable of. But I've had Norwich fans tweet me. I'm not going to name him, but a very, very, you know, prevalent Norwich fan. You know, I speak to him pretty regularly, and he told me, he said at the start, he said he's a complete fraud. He said he's a fraud. You ask anybody from any of his previous clubs, he's a fraud. Now, I'm not going out of my way in saying that, but I just found that so interesting because I backed him, and I said to him, no, you don't know what you're talking about. He's a great player, you know, he's going to get goals for us, but it's so interesting that a lot of these clubs don't like Patrick Bamford because of his attitude and because of his goal scoring record. At the end of the day, he's on 35 grand a week, and a lot of people are saying he needs help from other places, but guys, he's getting sort of 4 or 5 good chances per game now. He's on 35 grand a week. I get he needs help, but you've got to at least put 2 of those away, and he's not doing that. You know, he earns more money than me and you will earn in a lifetime in probably about 4 or 5 months. So he deserves that pressure. Anybody with large responsibility has large pressure. That's just the remit of life. And he needs to start putting the ball in the back of the net. And if he doesn't, get him out of the team, and I think he needs to take him out of this team at this moment in time for his sake and for Leeds' sake. Yeah, that's it really, guys. This was just all on perspective and what's going on now, why not to panic, why football opinions and abuse shouldn't go hand in hand, because that can lead to so many different things. That's another element of perspective. And the final element of perspective is just looking at what we've got on and off the pitch, and how it's not all doom and gloom. I might come on here and say, blah, 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 but I'm just reviewing the performance and what I can see is the blueprint for further on. I'm not changing that opinion, that's still what I think. But when looking at the holistic of Leeds United at this moment in time, we do have the tools to change it, which isn't what we had last year. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. Do you agree? Go ahead and slap a like on the video. Check out Retro Hut, and if you want to donate to the channel, just do it. Just in the comment section below. Don't have to do it, but there you go. It's just there if you want to do it. Hope you have a fantastic rest of the week. Your previews, your first, will be out tomorrow. We're cracking the content out. We've got so much planned, so much that we're so excited for. I'm currently filming on a little bit of new equipment that, you know, we're so happy to have for the channel. Yeah, some really good things coming up. So keep tuned. If you haven't subscribed, guys, make sure you hit that big red button and click the notification bell. Keep healthy, keep safe, and spread positivity and be nice. All right, and I'll see you in a bit.